ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ ප්‍රථම වරට SLT 4G වෙතින් දැන් Pure TV නරඹන්න. ඉදිරියටම ගෙන යන SLT 4G.
ලෙන්ගතුකම වැඩි කරගන්න ලව්ජු රුපියල් 50ට අඩු කළා.
මාමේ එන්න අපිට එකක් බොමු.
Tonight, big lies. Health Minister calls ex-PM's WHO funding claims vastly exaggerated, reveals true figures. Setting the dates, Gazette notification confirming dates for postal voting to be issued after final decision. Standing up to unfairness, public outrage follows brutal murder of three-wheeler union chief by leasing mafia. Take the lead. President Gotabaya calls for more banking sector action to assist economic growth. All this and much more coming up on this Thursday, the 11th of June 2020.
Nava sunlight sakura. Then dikukal pavathina sakura mal suandin.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to First at 9. I'm Shanella Fernando in your top stories for tonight. The Election Commission has arrived at a short list of dates for the holding of postal votes, stretching from the 13th to the 16th of this month. The Gazette declaring the actual dates will be issued in due course once a final decision has been arrived at by the Commission. The Elections Commission has not yet arrived at a decision over dates to hold postal voting, but is reportedly contemplating the 13th, 14th, 15th and 16th of July as possible dates. A spokesperson of the Elections Secretariat stated that the Gazette notification declaring the date for postal voting will be issued soon. However, the voting mechanism and health guidelines that should be adhered to while casting ballots are yet to be released. Meanwhile, the Department of Government Printer says that the longest ballot paper will be printed for the districts of Gampaha and Jaffna, with the paper 23 inches in length. The widest ballot paper is to be printed for the Colombo, Wanni, Batiklo and Digamadula districts. Meanwhile, with former Minister Mangala Samaravira stepping down from the election race, former MP Buddhika Patirana has taken up his vacated position as the Mathara district group leader.
මංගල සමරවීර මැතිතුමා එතුමගේ පුද්ගලික තීරණයේ එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයේ නම කොල්ල කාගෙන ඉන්න අර චෞර කණ්ඩායමේ සමහරුන්ට කාලකන්ණි සතුටක් තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. අපිට සතුටක් නෙමෙයි අපි කනගාටු වෙනවා. ඒ නිසා මාතරට නායකත්වය දෙන්න අපි සූදානම්.
තවත් ගොඩාක් කට්ටිය ඉවත් වෙයි. මොකද එතන දේශපාලන අනාගතයක් නැහැ. හොඳ සෙල්ලම් එළි වෙන යාමට කිව්වාගේ හෙටානින්ද බලන්න පුළුවන් ඔය කට්ටිය එක එක්කෙනා මාරුවෙන් මාරුවට වෙනත් වේදිකාවලට තවත් කට්ටියක් ඉවත් වෙයි.
පොලිමේ ඉන්නේ මේ පැත්තට එන්න ඒ කට්ටියේ තව වැල නොකැඩි වැල ආරම්භ කරානේ මේ මංගල සමරවීර මහත්මයා තව එක්කෙනෙකුයි. තව එයි. తాවකාලික ලැබුම් හලක ලගින්න කවුරුත් කැමති නැහැ. අපිට ඕනේ රටේ බලය ගන්නනේ. එතන අයට ඕනේ ගොඩනැගිල්ලක බලය ගන්න.
Chairman of the Self-Employed Professionals Three-Wheeler Association Sunil Jayawardena was assaulted in Mirihana yesterday that resulted in his tragic death. Jayawardena was assaulted by a group of individuals attached to a leasing company in Ambuldeniya when he was visited the company office to inquire about the release of a seized three-wheeler belonging to a member of the association. The unfortunate incident was recorded by a bystander. The assault and subsequent death of Sunil Jayawardena, chairman of the Self-Employed Professionals Three-Wheeler Association, was captured by a bystander.
They get the picture.
The incident took place in front of a leasing company located in Ambuldeniya, Maharagama. Following a complaint of the three-wheeler of an association member being seized by a leasing company for non-payment of its lease during the curfew period, Jayawardena had visited the company to conduct inquiries regarding the matter. It was revealed that although the sum of the 3 installments amounted to 31,200 rupees, the leasing company had seized the vehicle asking for a sum of 35,000 rupees, which included due interest, despite a grace period being granted for leasing by the government. Jayawardena had recorded a previous discussion with the leasing company pertaining to the matter.
මං ඇඩ්‍රස් එකත් එක ගෙවන්න කියලා අපේ මාසෙ ඉඳලා මාස 3 ඇඩ්‍රස් එකේ තියෙන්නේ මාර්තු මාසේ අප්‍රේල් මැයි දැන් මේ මාසෙ තව තියෙනවා 17 වෙනිදා තව දවස් 30 උස්සන්න වාහනේ එහෙමනේ
ඒ කියන්නේ මාස තුනකුත් නැතුණු උස්සලා තියෙනවා මම මේක අරින්නේ මම
මාත්‍යට කිව්වා මම සීස් කරන්නේ නැහැ ඒ තිරලාට ඇරියසරි වැඩිපුර කීයක් හරි දාගෙන යන්න
ඉතින් පුතා බලන්නකෝ ඔයා එහෙම සාධාරණව කතා කරලා කරපු වැඩේකටයිනේ
මම මෙතන කැෂියර් විතරයි මාත්‍යා
මේක ඇල ගොඩ පිනාන්සේ යන්නේ
මේක නෑ මම දැන් ලියාපදිංචි
යපෙන් මා බැංකුවේ අතිගරු ජනාධිපතිතුමනි මේ මිරියානේ ඔබතුමාගේ ගෙවල් ඉදිරි පිට ඉස්සරහම මෙන්න මේ ආයතන තියෙන මිරියානේ මෙන්න මේ පාතාලේ යොදලා මිනිසුන්ට පහර දීලා ගහලා මේ වාහන උස්සන් යන එක දැන් ක්‍රියාත්මකයි මේ ලීසින් මෙහෙමනේ උන් තමයි පාතාල නායකයෝ ඔය පුංචි පුංචි උන්ට ගහලා වැඩක් නැහැ මෙන්න මුන්ට තමයි ගහන්න ඕනේ.
Following failed negotiations, Jayawardena had contacted government officials via telephone to complain about the irregularities taking place and had left the location along with his union secretary. Later in the evening, he had returned to the leasing company premises where he along with his union secretary were assaulted by 8 individuals. Arriving at the premises following 119 calls by bystanders, the Mirihana police immediately admitted Jayawardena to the Colombo South Teaching Hospital. In a critical condition at the time, the 53-year-old Jayawardena, a father of 3, succumbed to his injuries last night. His remains were transported to a private funeral home in Boralla today. Meanwhile, the Mirihana police arrested 8 suspects in connection with the assault, and after being produced before the Nugegoda Magistrates Court, they were remanded until the 25th of June. After inquiring from the central bank, AdaDerana learned that the leasing company in question has not been registered with the Central Bank of Sri Lanka. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa said today that the banking sector needs to become even more efficient and do away with traditional ways of working while making bold decisions in the current situation. The president made these comments during a discussion that was held at the Presidential Secretariat earlier today to discuss problems related to the exports sector.
මාස 4ක් පමණ මේ කොවිඩ් ප්‍රශ්නය නිසා මුළු රටම වැහිලා තිබුණා. දැන් ක්‍රමයෙන් අපි රට විවෘත කරගෙන යනවා. වාසනාවකට අපිට පුළුවන් වුණා මේ ප්‍රශ්නය සෑහෙන දුරට පාලනය කරගන්නට. ඇත්තටම මම හිතන්නේ අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වුණාට වඩා ඉක්මනින් මේ ආර්ථිකය ගොඩ නැගෙන බවක් අපිට පෙනී යනවා. සමහර ක්ෂේත්‍රවල අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වුණා විශාල වශයෙන් කඩාවැටීමක්. නමුත් ඒ ක්ෂේත්‍රවල ක්ෂණික දියුණුවක් අපි දකිනවා. මම මේ වගේ පවත්තන හැම සාකච්ඡාවකදීම ආපු කාරණයක් තමයි මේ බැංකුවල අකාර්යක්ෂමතාවය. හැම එක්කෙනාම දෝෂාරෝපණය කරනවා මේ බැංකුවල රාජ්‍ය බැංකු වගේම පුද්ගලික බැංකුවල අකාර්යක්ෂමතාවය. ඒකයි මම අද මේ බැංකු වල සභාපතිතුමන්ලටත් එන්න කිව්වේ මේ කාරණය වහාම විසඳන්නට ඕන. මොකද අපි ණය පහසුකම් දෙන්න කියලා යෝජනා කරලා තිබුණා. නමුත් ඒක සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ නැහැ කියන කාරණය දිගටම පිට චෝදනා ඉල්ල වෙනවා. ඉතින් මේකෙන් ගොඩ එන්නට නම් සාම්ප්‍රදායික ක්‍රමවේදයන්ගෙන් එළියට ගිහිල්ලා බය නැතුව අපි තීරණ ගන්නට ඕන. මේ කාර්යයට ඉඩ දෙන්නේ නැති අය ඉන්නවනම් ඒගොල්ලෝ අස් කළා දාන්නට ඕන. එහෙම නැත්නම් මේක සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ නැහැ. අපි දන්නවා බැංකුව ක්ෂේත්‍රය මුල්ුණේ නැතොත් මේක ඉදිරියට ගෙනියන්නට පුළුවන් කමක් නැහැ. ඉතින් දැන් මම ඒක තත්ත්වේ දීලා තියෙනවා. මෙහෙම කරන්නේ නැත්නම් මම ඒ නිලධාරීන් පවා අස් කළා මේක කරන්න පුළුවන් නිලධාරීන් දාන්න පසුබට වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඉඳා බැංකුව මේකට ඉදිරිපත් වෙන්නට ඕන. මොකද බැංකුව වලින් තමයි මූලිකවම මේ ආර්ථිකයේ ගොඩ ගැනීමේ අවස්ථාව තියෙන්නේ. ඒක කරන්නේ නැත්නම් ඒක විශාල ප්‍රශ්නයක් වෙනවා.
We'll return after this short commercial break. Stay tuned.
කොරෝනා වෛරසය පැතිරීම වළක්වන්න සබන් යොදා දෑත් සෝදන්න.
Welcome back. In more news, Health Minister Pavitra Vanyarachi refuted claims of ex-PM Ranil Wickremesinghe on funds received from the World Health Organization, calling it an utter lie. The UNP leader made a statement yesterday claiming that Sri Lanka was granted a sum of $230 million by the World Health Organization for its COVID-19 response mission, which amounts to a staggering 10% of the organization's annual budget. In a statement today, the Health Minister said that the World Health governing body did fund Sri Lanka to tackle COVID-19 and that the sum actually amounts to $1.9 million.
The WHO gave us $230 million to control the coronavirus. That's a big amount. Now what has happened to this money? I'd like the health minister to disclose to the nation. What have you done?
මේ තියෙන්නේ ලෝක සෞඛ්‍ය සංවිධානයේ ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ නේවාසික නියෝජිත වෛද්‍ය රසියා මහත්මිය විසින් ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් මට එවන ලද වාර්තාව. COVID-19 රෝගය මර්ධනය කිරීම සඳහා මේ වන තෙක් ලෝක සෞඛ්‍ය සංවිධානය විසින් අපේ රටට ලබා දී තිබෙන්නේ ඩොලර් මිලියන 1.9ක මුදලක්. තවත් ඩොලර් මිලියන 2.3ක මුදලක් ඉදිරි වර්ෂය දක්වා වියදම් කිරීමට ලබා දීමට නියමිතව ඇති බව සඳහන් කර තියෙනවා. එතකොට ඩොලර් මිලියන 2ක් ලබා දුන්නම ඩොලර් මිලියන 230ක් ලබා දුන් බවට රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මැතිතුමා කරන ලද ප්‍රකාශය සම්පූර්ණම අසත්‍යයක්. දෙන ලද මුදල වගේ 100 ගුණයක් වැඩි කරලා ප්‍රකාශයක් නිකුත් කිරීම ගැන ඒක අතකින් පුදුම වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද එතුමා මේ වෙලාවේ පත් වෙලා තියෙන දේශපාලන වියවුල් තත්ත්වය නිසා මේ ලබා දුන් මුදල 100 ගුණයකින් වැඩි කරලා ප්‍රකාශ කරන්න ඇති කියලා මා විශ්වාස කරනවා.
The hearing of evidence by the Presidential Commission probing the Easter Sunday attacks continued today with a recording of statements from the senior DIG in charge of the Western Province, who stated that he was skeptical rather of the possibility of an attack since no prior information had been circulated of the existence of such a group before.
The Senior Deputy Inspector General of Police responsible for the Western Province at the time of the Easter attacks, Nandan Munasinghe, gave evidence before the Presidential Commission of Inquiry probing the Easter attacks. The senior DIG revealed that he had received a confidential document from the Office of the Inspector General of Police warning of an imminent attack by the National Tawhid Jamaat organization. The witness stated that the letter was based on information provided by State Intelligence Service Director Nilantha Jayawardena, which was forwarded to the IGP by National Intelligence Chief Cicero Mendis, which had been marked top secret and top priority. He added that the letter had been marked for necessary action by the IGP and was shared with STF Commandant DIG M.R. Latif, DIG in charge of the Special Security District, Priyalal Dasanayaka, and the Director of the Terrorist Investigation Division. The Commission then asked the witness if any attempts had been made to contact the IGP for further instructions, to which he responded that, as the LTD had taken 10 years to develop the use of suicide vests, he remained skeptical about the veracity of the information, as no prior intelligence had been received regarding the emergence of such an organization. Due to this, he added, he did not seek any such instructions and neither did the IGP contact him to confirm receipt of the letter. The Commission then asked the witness whether he had attempted to contact the National Intelligence Chief due to the letter being an intelligence document, to which he replied that 2 days after receiving the letter, he had contacted SIS Director Nilantha Jayawardena. The Senior State Counsel then asked the witness if any reports on Muslim extremism were received before the warning letter, to which he responded in the negative. The witness was then asked if he was aware of the discovery of explosives in Vanathu Villuva and the arrest of 4 Muslim suspects on the 16th of January 2019. He responded that although he was aware of the incident, as the Criminal Investigation Department had not informed him of the details of their probe or the fact that the group was an organized terrorist outfit, he was not convinced that an attack could take place. The Commission then questioned the witness whether the original confidential letter from the IGP containing warning of the attack was submitted as evidence, to which he stated that the letter in question had been handed over to the CID on 10th of June last year. In response to being questioned as to why he had kept such a letter in his possession for a period of 2 months before handing it over for evidence, the witness told the Commission that the decision to keep the letter or even destroy it remained solely at his discretion. The witness's statement was chided by the Commission, who reminded him that it was a legal requirement to keep a record of every document for a period of 5 years. The witness was then questioned by the senior state counsel if any discussions were held on the contents of the letter between the IGP and other senior police officials, to which he replied in the negative. The witness accepted that if going by media reports, where it had been made clear that the IGP had been informed of the threats on numerous occasions by the National Intelligence Chief, any discussions on the subject could have prevented the incident.
Director General of Health Services Dr. Anil Jasinghe reaffirmed today that there have been no reports of any form of community-based transmissions of the COVID-19 virus so far. Dr. Jasinghe also touched on recent public protests, adding that it is essential that they be conducted with minimal numbers and urged the maintaining of social distancing.
Among the 10 COVID-19 patients that tested positive for the virus yesterday are 8 Navy personnel. The Navy personnel were undergoing quarantine at the Iakachi and Mullaitivu facilities. The other 2 positive cases are returnees from Kuwait and Mumbai who were detected while in quarantine. Meanwhile, active cases in the country rose by 4, taking the overall figure to 715, while the recoveries now stand at 1,150. In the meantime, a total of 880 naval personnel have tested positive for the COVID-19 virus so far, since the first Navy sailor tested positive for the virus on the 21st of April. The number of Navy recoveries went up by 42 during the last cycle, taking the total to 622. Meanwhile, an Indian national who had been engaged in selling saris in Jaffna has returned to India and tested positive for the COVID-19 virus. With that, residents living in the vicinity of the suspect's residence were subjected to PCR tests. Despite these residents having tested negative for the virus, Director General of Health Services Dr. Anil Jasinghe says that they will regardless be directed to 14 days quarantine. Meanwhile, 30 police officers who were engaged in rounding up frontline Socialist Party protesters in Kolpiti have been sent into quarantine at the Attiliya Quarantine Centre.
එතුමා බලයට පත් වුණාට පස්සේ එක වෝටර් කැනන් එකක් ඕපන් අප් කළා නැහැ මේ දක්වා. එක බැටන් ප්‍රහාරයක් එල්ල කළා නැහැ කිසිම උද්ඝෝෂණකරුවෙකුට. එක ටියර් ගෑස් කැනිස්ටර් එකක් පාවිච්චි කළා නැහැ කිසිම උද්ඝෝෂණකරුවෙකුට. කවුරුවත් ඔලු පලාගෙන ලේ පෙරාගෙන ඉස්පිරිතාලට ඇතුළත් වෙලා නැහැ. අපි මේ රට කොරෝනා වෛරසයෙන් බේරගත්තේ හුඟක් කැපකිරීම කළා. අද මගේ නාවික හමුදාවේ කොල්ලෝ 800 ගානකට රෝගය වැළඳිලා තියෙනවා. සුදු වැල්ලේ මත්ද්‍රව්‍ය පාවිච්චි කරන තරුණයෝ 38ක් අල්ලන්න ගිහිල්ලා තමයි ඒක උනේ. මමයි නාවික හමුදාපතිවරයාට කිව්වේ පරක්කු වෙන්න වෙලාවක් නැහැ. ඉක්මනට ගිහිල්ලා මේ මිනිස්සු අල්ලගන්න නැත්තම් මුළු පළාතම ඉවර වෙනවායි කියලා. අප්‍රේල් මාසේ 30 වෙනිදා අද වෙනකොට දවස් 41ක් නැත්තම් 42ක් වෙනවා. එක රෝගියෙක්වත් සමාජයෙන් වාර්තා වුණේ නැහැ. අපි ඒක කන්ට්‍රෝල් කරා. එහෙම කළා. ඒ කියන්නේ රට ඇරපු ගමන් එනවනම් නිරෝධායන නීති කඩ කරලා උද්ඝෝෂණය කරන්න අපි මොකද කරන්නේ? ඉතින් කිව්වහම තේරුම් ගන්න නැතුව ඇවිල්ලා එහෙම හැසිරෙනකොට අල්ලලා උසාවියට දාන්න නැතුව වෙන මොනවා කරන්නද?
Meanwhile, 9 foreign nationals from the United Kingdom were directed to quarantine after being subjected to mandatory PCR tests at the airport. Among them are 7 Lithuanian nationals and 2 Indian nationals. In the meantime, biological samples were obtained from 117 foreign ship crew members who arrived in the country from India last night before being directed to quarantine centres.
ඉදිරියේදී ශ්‍රී ලංකාවට ශ්‍රී ලාංකිකයින් මොන ආකාරයට ශ්‍රී ලංකාවට රැගෙන ආ යුතුද පිළිබඳව අද දින රැස්වීමක් පැවැත්වෙනවා. ඒ වගේම සංචාරක ව්‍යාපාරය අගෝස්තු මාසයේ ආරම්භ කිරීම සඳහා තමයි කටයුතු කරලා තියෙන්නේ. අපි දන්නවා මේ වෛරසය ඇතුළුනේ ශ්‍රී ලංකාවට ගුවන් තොටුපළින් එකවරක් නොව නැවත නැවත ඇතුළුනේ ගුවන් තොටුපළින්. මේ වන විට නාවික හමුදාවේ ප්‍රශ්නය හැරුණකොට ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ භූමිය තුල වෛරසය ඇති බවට කිසිම සාක්ෂියක් මේ අවස්ථාවේ නැහැ. එහෙමනම් ඉදිරියට මේ ගුවන් තොටුපළ නිරාවරණය වීමත් සමග නැවත මේ වෛරසය ශ්‍රී ලංකාවට කැඳවාගෙන එන්නේ නැතුව කොහොමද අපගේ සංචාරක කර්මාන්තය කරන්නේ කියන අභියෝගයට තමයි අපි මුහුණ පාලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒ වගේම මේ උද්ඝෝෂණ පැවැත්වීම පිළිබඳ සමාජ දුරස්ථභාවය ඇතුව සීමිත සංඛ්‍යාවක් යටතේ කිරීම අත්‍යවශ්‍ය තත්ත්වයක් බව පෙන්වා දිය යුතුයි. එහෙම නැතුව මේ උද්ඝෝෂණ සඳහා අප විසින් විරුද්ධ වීමක් නොවන බවත් කිව යුතුයි.
In addition, 60 returnees from Kuwait were sent home today after successfully completing quarantine at the Palgahatanna Quarantine Centre today.
In your business news, the Federal Reserve announced that interest rates will remain near zero at least up to 2022 in a move to provide support for the US economy. Policymakers are predicting US gross domestic product to plunge 6.5% this year and unemployment at around 9% at the end of the year.
The Federal Reserve yesterday decided to keep interest rates near zero and said it plans to keep them that way until 2022, if not longer. With policymakers predicting gross domestic product to plunge 6.5% this year and unemployment at around 9% at the end of the year, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell says the Fed is ready to give this economy all the help it needs.
We're not thinking about raising rates. We're not even thinking about raising rates. So what we're thinking about is providing support for this economy. We do think this is going to take some time. I think most forecasters believe that.
This is why, along with predictions of rates staying near zero for longer, the Fed announced plans to keep on grabbing up bonds to the amount of around $120 billion a month to prime the pump of the economy by providing money to lenders until this precarious season comes to an end. But there are signs that a recession that officially began in February may already be loosening its grip. Hiring roared back in the month of May as local economies reopened and people went back to work.
The Vyatmaga UK chapter and the National Unity Forum will be holding a webinar titled Inclusive Nationalism Towards One Sri Lanka this Saturday, the 13th of June. The webinar is to feature a cross-community panel of experts who will discuss social and economic empowerment through inclusivity to unleash the country's true potential. The panel will feature Professor Susirit Mendis, former parliamentarian Firial Ashraf, Tambu Selvakumar and Right Honourable the Lord Naseby, who will talk on reconciliation, empowering communities and national unity. The conveners for the webinar will be Captain Mahin Abesekara and Professor Rizvi Hassan, while the session will be moderated by Suminda Dissanayaka. Members of the public will also be able to join in the sessions by registering via a Zoom link provided through the webinar's official website. Shares ended flat today as losses in some heavyweight consumer stocks offset gains in other sectors. The old share price index closed down 0.1% at 4,917.24, with foreign investors being net sellers, offloading about 989.6 million rupees worth of shares. Here's a brief report on today's market performance.
For today's stock market witnessed a very dull sentiment and market closed at a merely 1 point drop. And for the drop mainly considered by the CTC and the distilleries. And for today turnover boosted by the shares traded in the banking and non-financial, and banking side the commercial bank, HNB and Sampath contribute the most turnover, and the non-banking side the LOIC holding was the more turnover. And the foreign side we are seeing the more than 7 consecutive days we are seeing the foreign selling, and today foreign participation was around more than 35%. And for the foreign side also we are seeing the heavy selling on LOLC and Sampath and commercial bank. And for today the retail sector mainly target on the LOLC and commercial bank non-voting. And we are seeing the slow trend for the last 2 days, and we expect for this trend will continue for the next few days also.
Meanwhile, the Sri Lankan rupee was quoted at 185 rupees and 10 cents against the US dollar, marginally stronger compared with the last session's close of 185 rupees and 20 cents. Let's take a look at how the rupee fared against other major currencies during the day today. More news on the other side of this break. Stay tuned. In your sports news, on pause since the last match on 9th March 2020, the English Premier League will resume on the 17th of this month. A minute's silence to remember those who have died of coronavirus will be held before the first matches after the Premier League restarts. The tribute will be paid to all the victims of coronavirus before the first matches after the Premier League restarts by observing a 1-minute silence. Heart-shaped badges in tribute to frontline National Health Service staff will also be be worn on kits. Clubs agreed to a range of medical and operational protocols for the restart of the season during a recent meeting. There will be strict limits on those allowed into stadiums on match days and grounds, and grounds will be split up into zones, including the tunnel and pitch side. With that, we wrap up tonight's edition of First at 9. Thank you for joining. I'm Shanila Fernando. Good night.